how can you position yourself by way of your resume to stand out when you're applying for these type of technician jobs? And are there any red flags that, that our viewers should avoid when setting something up to be seen by a potential employer?
As someone that looks at resumes on a everyday basis, something I've seen a lot from technicians is they're using the very basic like Indeed template, which that is fine. What would make you kind of stand out though is using a very different template. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Indeed template, but like your contact information's top left. So maybe using like a different template, I think it would help you stand out. Neither are right or wrong. Keeping it to 1 or 2 pages. I have gotten resumes that are like 3 to 5 pages before. And I'm just telling you, like, we typically know within the first like 30 to 60 seconds whether we're going to move forward with a candidate. So keeping it short and concise. Make sure that your contact information is accurate. I have had people put incorrect emails and phone numbers on their resume, so we then cannot contact you. Making sure that your employment dates are accurate too. We get a lot of resumes that have lots of employers listed, and the dates that they have listed for those employers just do not make sense. Like there's no way that they could have 5 concurrent jobs. So making sure your start and end dates with employment history, like throughout that, are correct. Make sure you're using keywords. So a lot of times recruiters were just like very specifically trained, like I said, 30, 60, 90 seconds to look through a resume and look for keywords. So for my technicians, I'm looking for like 483 phase or even like 220, some kind of electrical on there. Words like if people have used SAP before, which I know is kind of rare, but people that have used our systems, people that have done VFDs, VSDs, PLCs, things like that. So make sure like if you have that experience, you're putting those in there. And then also education. So make sure your education is correct. We require a GED or a high school diploma. So making sure that that's on there. Some big red flags. Big gaps in employment. I do understand that things happen, but maybe explaining it on there, because a lot of times if we see a huge gap, you might have a great explanation, but it's not on the resume and we might just move on. Grammar is also a big deal. So we have a lot of people that don't spell things correctly, aren't using punctuation, just like run on sentence after run on sentence. So if you can avoid that. And then oversharing. We've had technician resumes come in, and a good example is someone put that he was sober for like 10 years, and it's like, congrats, that's amazing, but like do not put that kind of stuff on your resume. So I think that those are my big ones.
I have a follow-up question to that. Do you have any templates that you do recommend?
So there's a lot you can find online. I mean, especially with like AI nowadays, they can pretty much craft your resume for you. Um, there's no one specific template. I have seen so many different templates that I'm like, wow, that's a really good resume. I would say avoid putting your picture on it. Just unconscious bias is a huge thing. I meant to mention that. Avoid putting your picture. And, using that Indeed template isn't wrong. It just, a lot of technicians use it. So if you want to stand out, I would just pick something else. It doesn't have to be anything fancy.